Hello, my sweet friends. I hope you are all doing well, and happy Wednesday to each and every one of you. So I have a really fun project planned today, and this was inspired by a picture I found while kind of organizing some files on my computer. I have made this style of fun fold card in the past, but I haven't done one in ages, and so I was really inspired to kind of bring that back out and give it a fresh new look. And so this is a bridge card, and even though it does look complicated, it's super easy to make, and it makes an absolutely beautiful display because it is so dimensional and it does hold itself up really well. So if that sounds good to you, then stick with me and we'll make it together. We're going to start the base of this card with two pieces of 65-pound weight cardstock, and they are both cut to be 6.5 inches high by 10 inches wide. They're scored at 2.5 and also 5, and this will fold and cover half of the surface. So what we want to do is join these two pieces together so that when they're folded, it will cover the full front. So I have already prepared this one with my double-sided tape. I do want to add a layer of my Tombow just to be extra secure. Then I'll bring these two together by adding the corner, making sure that the side and bottom are straight and even as it goes across. Now you can see when it's folded, those will come together, and so this will form the base. Now another great part of this is, even though it seems like there's a lot of pieces, it's really not a lot of different measurements, and so this will go fairly quickly. So to cover the back of the card, your cardstock will measure 6 3/8 high by 4 7/8 inch wide, and I'm just going to add that, and it will have a border of the white cardstock showing. I think it's also nice to cover the back of this card since our further layering will be on the front. It would be displayed if you put your sentiment on here. So let's just go ahead and finish the back as well, and that will be the same measurements. You can add a small die cut or a small frame to this to add your sentiment onto the back. This also helps it to be very sturdy because now we have 6 layers of paper there on the back. So the next measurement is going to be the half sections on the side, and for this card I'm choosing that same beautiful pattern on black with the butterflies and flowers, and so this will measure cardstock 6 3/8 by 2 3/8, and the pattern paper is 6 1/4 by 2 1/4. I also have one for this side. If you're going through your stash papers, you can definitely mix and match these, and I think this would also be great for holiday cards because often have little strips of the pattern paper left over when you make regular size cards, so this would be a good way to utilize those. Now for the front, I do want some contrast, so I have the same measurements here, but I just picked a pretty non-contrasting pink, and that coordinates really nicely with the pink flowers in that floral background. To both sides of this. Now we need to create that bridge, and so we have a strip that will go all the way across. You do want to start with a piece of 110-pound cardstock, and I have this one cut to be 2 inches high by 10 inches wide, and it will span the length of this once this is folded over. I put some double-sided tape on this, but this is another great area where a 2-glue combo will be of benefit. So let's just add this. It will be easier to fold this over and then position it where you want it to land. You could easily use a T-square ruler, but I think this will be pretty easy to get straight and even going across. Now I want to fold this back a little bit and pull another little line of my Tombow here, and then stretch this out all the way and adhere it to the other side. So just make sure that it is well and truly stuck down. While it is flat though, you can begin to do some of the embellishing on the front. I have a small die cut doily here, and I want that to fall in the center. I'm going to do the 2 glue combo again. Then I'll top that with a small die cut sentiment. So this was part of a larger cut apart image from a different collection. I'm kind of bringing the patterns of paper from different paper pads, and this one is from a different collection as well, just to go through some of my stash. This is layered up with that same pink cardstock, and then I also did add some foam tabs to add a little bit of dimension there. So now the next step is to add my flowers in. I think this is a great design for cards because it splits the focus of the front, you see, and I can include 2 different flower arrangements this time. And so I'm going to incorporate 2 that are the same. They are flowers from Really Reasonable Ribbon. This is a pink magnolia, and I did alter it slightly so that I could change out the center of the stamen here to better coordinate with my pattern paper. I've layered a handmade flower here as well, some loopy twine bows, netting, and die cuts. This is some pink wrinkle ribbon, and this ties a fairly nice smaller bow. So if you don't have a lot of room for all the loopy larger embellished bows, then this is a great place for that. So this is going to span, you see, nearly the full width. And because we have the extra room here, I can have that curve that I like and have those flowers adhered to this base as well. So I'm just going to add that with my hot glue, making sure that I have it positioned where I want. Then I'll add this side as well. So I have a couple of butterflies here, and I have fussy cut them from a piece of pattern paper. You know, I really love when there's an all over pattern but on a light background, so you can essentially create your own ephemera. And this piece was from a Minte collection, The Better Times. It was a 2020 collection, but I feel like this would be something that many different collections would have a image that you can cut out and create your own ephemera. And so I'm going with butterflies since that is in my background. I did shape them slightly just by curving them around my finger to kind of give them a little bit more dimension. And then I'm going to attach them here, one on either side, and kind of in a more organic sort of flow here, not kind of lined up, but I think that this helps to balance the layers that you're adding. So make sure to get that shaped, and then we'll add one on the side as well. I did add that with hot glue, so I'm very confident it is well secured. I think you could also consider adding some stickles here just as a little added detail to this butterfly to make it look more like purchased ephemera. And so I'm not going all over crazy. I'm just kind of adding it to places where a natural detail would fall. So just on the outside of those wings. I would normally add a charm and a button, but for the sake of balancing this card, I'm going to stick with a couple of sequins on either side. So I'll put a couple over here and then a couple down there, so it will create a nice balance. So I think this card would really work well for the holidays. As I mentioned, if you have a small spider web die or something similar, or a snowflake die, you could make this for Halloween or for Christmas, and then just add your pattern paper and a sentiment that would work for the holiday. So this is fairly versatile, I think, and as I mentioned, you can get use out of your offcuts for these smaller side portions. Now, unfortunately, this is not going to fit in a standard size envelope, so you may have to create one yourself or just wrap it in pretty tissue paper if you're giving it to the person that you created it for, or possibly package it in a box so that it would be safe going through the mail. Here's my last sequin, and then I'll fold that up and show you how nice and dimensional this is going to be. It makes a really lovely display. And so when you move those portions, all of this will follow. You see, and when it stands up, it will hold itself up and be very dimensional. So that's it for our card today. Now, if you enjoyed this tutorial, let me know in the comments, and also let me know what is your favorite fun fold card to create, and give me a big thumbs up for this tutorial. If you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe and join our crafty little family. And you can always find links for our socials and the trims from Really Reasonable Ribbon in the description below. As always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day, and I thank you so much for watching. Bye.